What's up, everybody? This is going to be part 2 of the reassembly of the Willis F-Head. This is out of the 59 CJ5 we've been working on for a while. We're going to go ahead and finish up the bottom end. I got the oil pickup tube here. Quick tip on these is this comes apart. So if you pull these tabs apart, the top comes off. You can remove the screen and get any kind of sludge and dirt and everything like that cleaned up. This is something I think's overlooked a lot because most people don't know that they do come apart, and can really cause you a headache if you don't, because this one was just packed full of sludge and everything like that. So we're going to go ahead and install it. This is the gasket for it. Go ahead and throw it on there. And I'm not going to put any RTV on it because we don't want to risk getting any RTV down into the oil galleys. I just had the bolts for it. I'm looking for the bolts. There they are. Had the ones that look the same but different size. So let's go ahead and install it, and it only goes one way. Alright, so one more thing before we put the oil pan on is these Keps nuts here. See if you can see them. So these are just the old-timey lock nuts. They go on where the flat face hits the nut. You're going to put them on finger tight and then go a third of a turn. So you're going to do that for all of them. So now we're going to go ahead and put the timing cover on because the oil pan is going to attach the timing cover. So I'll go ahead and reposition the camera for that and get that ready. Alright, so before we put the timing cover on, just make sure your timing marks are still good. Your key is on for your crankshaft pulley. And then I got the gasket on the timing cover. Some RTV on there. Also make sure you lubricate your crankshaft seal, and then lubricate where it's going to ride on the crankshaft. Because we're trying to keep oil leaks down to a minimum on this thing. So these over here, these are all going to be bolts that thread into the block, and then the rest of these up top are going to be bolts and nuts. So I'm going to go ahead and get this fastened up and check in. I got the oil pan on. We're going to go ahead and install the pulley shield. So it's going to get some spacers. Also, this gasket did not like lining up with the rear main seal packing either. So I gotta see what's up with that. Everything else lined up in the back, so we'll see Oh, wrong way. There we go. So you got these spacers here, and then the two back ones don't get spacers. Put those in hand tight. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and zip those down, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, so now we're gonna put the oil pump in. Should have done this before we put the timing cover on, but it's no big deal. You wanna make sure it's at top dead center. Number one is, I got the crankshaft pulley on using the Pulley timing mark, lined up with the timing cover. So I got the pump here. This is a Melling 53. It's going to be a replacement oil pump. It's updated with a updated pressure relief. The original style doesn't have that. You want to make sure you prime it up. So you got your inlet and outlet here, and you're going to fill it up with oil and then move your shaft back and forth. You could probably see that oil coming out. So I got an even level on both sides. See if it'll go back and forth. You can kind of see it. So we're good on that. There's a nasty storm about to come. I had to go outside and put some parts in that I was painting today, because I knew the storm was coming, but not so soon. But anyway, I got the distributor installed. I doubt you'll be able to see it, but there's the shaft. I got it pointing at number 1. And so if the oil pump is installed wrong, your distributor is not going to be in time. You can't adjust the distributor like you can on most other vehicles where it has, you know, a gear that looks like this. To actually adjust it, if it is out of time, is to pull the oil pump and turn it, because this is driven off the cam and then the distributor fits in this slot here. So it's important that we got everything meshed. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball where it is. A little bit of oil is going to come out of the pump. It's not going to be a big deal. Go ahead and lubricate where it's going to go in at. It's held in by 3 bolts, 2 long ones and a short one. So I'm just going to take the distributor pointer and get it to line up. All right, so we're not lined up. We're in between right now, so I got to pull it out, and then we're going to turn the oil pump shaft. Yeah, you can't see on the camera, but I got the head still off, and I can just turn the rotor. All right, so we want it about there. Let's try this again. All right. And I didn't paint the oil pump yet because it was just going to be an oily mess installing it, so. And then you got one short bolt up here. we're gonna have to use the wrench for that. So that's all there is to the oil pump. Don't have to adjust the relief. Should be factory preset, but you know, if you want more oil pressure out of it, you can probably shim it and everything like that. I've had to do that in the past on a worn pump to get me by until I got a new one. So, all right, so now I'll go ahead and show you what the distributor looks like. All right, so here's the distributor end. Right now we're pointing at number 1. So right now, spark has been sent to number 1 piston. See, we're after top dead center right now. We're going down. So it's gonna be, oh shit. It's gonna be 1, 3, 4, 2. So number 1's firing. Number 2's exhausting. Coming up. Bam. Then we're gonna hit. I'm sorry, 3. I was looking at the wrong damn cylinder. So now 4. 4's, and then now 2, and then should be back at 1. Yep, and our timing mark. And it's going to be a final, you know, adjustment on the distributor and everything. We're just getting a rough timing, and figured I'd just show you what goes on in the distributor. And we got the head off so you can kind of see everything. We don't get to see the intake valves, obviously, but you can kind of see what the pistons do and the exhaust valves do. So all right, the bottom end is done. There's nothing else to do on the bottom end. We got our cam timing. We got a rough distributor timing going. If you notice, I put a Petronics in this. I actually just rebuilt it today. Didn't film it because I was just trying to get it all put together. But it's super easy. You just pull out your points plate. This one I did a full rebuild on it. I made sure the centrifugal advance worked, the weight springs and everything like that. Made sure the bushing was good and clean. The oil passage, that's the oiler there, that was good. Put it all back together, painted it, and then installed the Petronics. So you just take where your points plate mounts up to, pull your points plate out, put in your Petronics, put the new bolts that it comes with, and then your little mag pickup, and you are good to go. It's that simple. And then wire it up how it shows you in the instructions. So all right, so now we're gonna put the head together, put the exhaust valves in and everything, and then get the head mounted. So then then we're on the downhill from here on out. All right, so we got our nice clean painted head on a messy workbench, a clean messy workbench. So got our new intake valves. You can see the design of them. It's like a TP style. It makes putting a valve spring compressor kind of difficult, you know, kind of wants to kick out and stuff, but they've been lapped. It's the same process we did on the exhaust, and I believe I have a video from last year, the year before, lapping intake valves. So figured I'd skip over that step. Kind of crunch for time, and I don't want the videos to be 2 hours long like they have been, and it's something I've already gone over. So we're going to put some assembly lube on the valve stem. Okay, we'll go ahead and push it through, and then it's going to get a valve seal. Here's a valve stem seal. That's just going to prevent oil from seeping down between the valve stem and the valve seat, or the valve guide, I'm sorry. New intake valve spring. These can go either way. The coils are exactly the same on both. The exhaust you have to put where the coils are tighter, closer. So I'm gonna put that over there. Valve spring, crap, I'm at a loss of words what it is. Basically a retainer holder. And then for retainers, I'm reusing the originals because the new ones do not fit, and I'm pretty aggravated. I'll just show you real quick. So here's a new one. and they don't fit. I don't know. It's a very, they'll have to be filed, and I don't have time for that. And the old ones are probably better quality anyway. So the problem lies with the either the depth or the width of the half moon there. So we're going to use the old ones. Make sure our valve seal is all the way down. We're going to go ahead and put that on there. Just make sure the camera can see. The valve spring compressor, the same one we use for the exhaust valves. It's not the one I wanted, but it works. It's kind of a piece of crap. What isn't nowadays, you know? All the old Lyle and OTC, I can't find valve spring compressors, even used ones on eBay. So let's go ahead and put your half moons, your keepers in there without dropping them, which I like to do on camera all the time. See if I can change the angle a little bit. Hold on. That storm's rolling in too. There we go. If I offset it, hopefully you can see it. Okay. Yeah, you can use grease or the assembly lube like I use, but these should hold in dry just fine. Probably gonna, yep, jinx myself. Come on, damn it. All the other ones didn't fight me. So make sure the seats, the spring's seated in all the way. So now we're gonna go ahead and get the, well, we'll build the rocker arms while it's on the engine. So we'll just go ahead and put the naked head up there and then build our rocker arm assembly while it's on the engine. All right, so for the head gasket, I want to make sure, you'll see these crimped ends here on how they crimp the metal on the fiber gasket. Make sure that's down against the block. Also, do not use any sealant or anything like that. It says don't do that in the book, and I had to pull off the head of my CJ5 I think a year or two ago to do I had some issues with the exhaust valves, and I did that. Now I have a blown head gasket. I don't know for sure if the sealant caused it or if I have a broken head bolt or what, but it's still out of commission. So just a FYI. So I have tried it, and now I got a dead Jeep. But anyway, let me go grab the head. I got all new head bolts. Well, make sure you don't really slide it around. We'll get a couple bolts started in the corners. And I got this camera tripod jacked all the way up. That's how tall this thing is. And as far as the bolts go, the manual says nothing about lubricating the bolts. So I don't remember ever using Never Seas or oil or anything like that. So they're gonna go in dry. So I'll go ahead and throw all these head bolts in. There we go, we got a little bit more height out of it. Go ahead and throw these head bolts in and torque them down, and then we'll install the rocker arms. All right, so I got all the bolts installed. Don't forget about your oil filter bracket, 2 head bolts, hold those down. And also your throttle linkage, and then also the short bolt down in the carburetor hole. So the torque spec on these is 60 to 70 foot-pounds. We're gonna go ahead and do a half torque on them. So I'm going to do about 30 the first go around, and then we'll do them again. I'm going to do it start in the middle, doing it how the book sequence. It's going to be 1, 2. Oh, that one's a... four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, All right, so that's the sequence. I'm gonna go ahead and bring them up to 65, split the difference, and check in. All right, hopefully the thunderstorm isn't too loud outside. We're gonna go ahead and build the rocker arm shaft assembly. So I already got one side started. Just wanted to make sure I had the right rocker arm on. These are all cleaned, all the oil passages are clean. If you watched the teardown video, you remember how dirty they are. So go ahead and put in another support. Let me, one thing I forgot, let me throw some oil on this. I'm gonna go ahead and put some down in the tube. And then we'll go ahead and give it a coat. Should have done this off camera, I forgot. Alright. So put your end piece on, gets a stud to hold it on. So this is going to be number 4. So we got a number 4 rocker arm. And we got number 3. got in with the spring. Go ahead and throw in our other support. This gets a bolt. Probably go ahead and get it started. There we go. It's kind of got a feel for it a little bit. Alright. Then the number 2. Spring. Actually, no, I screwed up. Hold on. Hold on. Damn it. I'm having a brain fart. There we go. I gotta put this one on. Gotta get the Goldilocks. There we go. And we will tighten them down once they're mounted on the head. This one was a little galled up, I remember, from the tear down. There we go. Not too bad. Go ahead and throw the stud in. And then we're not going to crank them because we're going to make sure they all line up on the studs on the head. So there we go. Took just a couple minutes. We're going to go ahead and toss some assembly lube on the valve stems. And then we'll do the same thing with the rocker arm, where the rocker arms touch. Uh-oh. That sounded expensive. Alright, so this is what we'll do. Go ahead and loosen them up. Push them on the studs. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Now let me go get that jam nut off the damn ground somewhere. Alright, I'll have to look for that here off camera. Oh, we forgot something. Forgot to put the push rods in. Oops. Alright, so Normally you just put the rocker arms in first, but I forgot. So we're gonna go ahead and put them in. Luckily you can just, should. Yeah, we'll have to rotate the engine for that one. Let's try number 3. I put some oil down in the tappet body where the push rod goes down into. So we have oil there. Put some oil in there. Yeah, there's no lift on number 2, so I don't know why it's fighting me. Let me just pick up on the assembly. There we go. Alright, the day is saved. Save the day. It's not done right if it ain't done twice, right? Alright. Just gonna put a little bit of tension on them. And we'll go ahead and tighten everything down. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and set our intake valve clearance. So we got number 1. We're gonna start with number 1. It's at top dead center. So you're just gonna back off this jam nut back here and then use a flathead screwdriver. And we're looking for 18 thousandths on the intake. So just get to where you got some drag on there. They will have to be adjusted after the engine is broken in. We're just getting a good baseline. All right, that one's good. So you just hold your screwdriver on there. Put your jam nut down. And then tighten up your lock bolt. And then we'll just double check it to make sure we didn't over tighten it. Perfect. All right, we're gonna do the same process for the rest of them. You're gonna have to rotate the engine and go from there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the thermostat in. I'm running a 160-degree thermostat. Got our water neck gasket. It's got a real thin layer of RTV on it. Just gotta figure out which way the gasket goes. I'm getting frickin' RTV everywhere. There we go. Water neck. And go ahead and bolt it down. Alright, so I didn't hit play on the water pump mounting, but just put your RTV on the gasket, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts that hold it on. You got a real long one, and then the rest are about 1 inch long. Looks like I missed some painting here of the block, miscalculated where the water pump went, so I'm gonna have to tape off the water pump and repaint that. But yeah, it's starting to look like an engine now. So we'll go ahead and throw on the oil filter canister. All right, so we're gonna start on the spark plug wires. Got it in the holder, so I got 1, 2, 3, and then 4 on the bottom. Number 1 is too short. For some reason, the spark plug wire kit, they all came the same length. Normally they're, you got longer ones and shorter ones and all that. But one's gonna be too short, so we're gonna have to take it out of the holder and put a longer wire on it later on down the road. So to make wire ends, as you can see, there's no end on it. We're going to go ahead and slide our boot over. We're using straight boots on these. Usually a little bit of dielectric grease, soap, WD-40, whatever you got on hand. Slip these over. They're normally kind of a tight fit. I've had to take a knife and waller it out a little bit. Come on. This one's getting hung up. But the thing you don't want to do is grab it with needle nose or anything and risk ripping the insulation right off. We're just going to take some regular pliers and just pull it back. Damn. Alright, so now we got our boot slid back. This is the ideal wire length, about 1/2 inch. Go ahead and fold it back. Take your brass terminal. These are female, so these are made to go in the distributor. So with it folded back, you're going to take the bottom and hold it on there. And they do make special crimpers, but I never spent $100 to get spark plug wire crimpers, so I've always used needle nose. So I'll clamp the sides and then go ahead and clamp the top, and then normally if you don't go too bad, the wings won't dig too much in the insulation and tear it up. So we'll just pull it out a little bit. Of course, it's not going to come out perfect like the other ones did. There we go. See how it folded over? And we'll go ahead and crimp it again. Make sure it's got a good crimp on the bottom. Give it a little bit of a tug. We're good to go. And we'll go ahead and slide the boot. God dang it. This thing is not wanting to cooperate. There we go. So we'll go ahead and leave it like that for now. But yep, that's basically it on how to make your own spark plug wire ends. If these were, if you had to shorten one of these up, just get you some, you can either use a knife or razor blade, get it good and get it started, and you could pull it off, and then you'll have your wire exposed like this. You don't strip the wire, you leave it just like it is, and that's basically how you cut them. So, like if we wanted to take this much off, we just cut it straight through and then strip it back that 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch, and put the end on just like I did. Alright, so here we go. Got the side valve cover on, throttle linkage on, spring on. This is not the right spring. I modified one I had laying around new. So we got our carb linkage. We're just gonna have to get a longer wire for number one. PCV system still has to be plumbed in. The nipple broke off while I was trying to take it all apart to clean. I got to get one of those, but yeah, this thing's ready to run. That's what the whole goal was. I'm gonna get it in and get it running, and then probably finish all the plumbing and tubing and all that stuff once it's in. I'm just the customer really wants to see it run. It was supposed to be done a couple weeks ago. It's just been a lot of hang-ups and stuff with getting parts, and then, you know, finding all those other problems we found. Another problem, this isn't the carb that came off this. This is a spare. This is actually the original off my CJ5. It's enough to get it running. It's got a real bad air leak here on the throttle body shaft, so it's going to run real lean, and you know, it's not going to run 100% perfect, but just enough to get it running. Hopefully broken in until we can get another carburetor, because the high speed, basically on the accelerator pump circuit, there's a check valve in here with a little ball and like a seat kind of in here, not the float. It's another, but that's totally rusted together in the carburetor body. So even after sitting in the parts washer for about 2 weeks, it still didn't free up, and then it's been soaking in PB Blaster and Freon and all kinds of stuff. I can't get it to separate, so most likely we're just gonna have to do an exchange on it with one that's another rebuilt core. And then just gonna make up some temporary fuel lines to run it, and you know, it's a lot of temporary stuff. I got to make a radiator mount, because the grill's all taken apart, and then the fan, throw the fan on there, and then I'll probably wind up leaving the generator off because it hasn't been rebuilt yet, and we'll just run a little rubber band belt to run the water pump. Not a big deal. Or I might just throw on a spare generator I have. So all right, well, next time you see it, it's going to be in the Jeep, and we're going to do a first startup video on it, so it's going to be pretty exciting. Going to be a big milestone. And then once I get everything 100% done on it, the plumbing and new carburetor, I'll go over the break-in procedure and everything, my personal break-in procedure on the new engine, and then we'll start driving it around and testing everything out. So all right, thanks for watching. Have a good one.